What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Dipped in Tone, Season 2, Episode whatever. 15. Here we are. We actually got an exciting episode coming up today.
It's gonna be
We got a good rig to dip. We got a really good subject. We're talking about possibly the rebirth of American tube manufacturing in my very own home state of Georgia, which is very cool. We're gonna do a little Patreon Q&A, and then I've got a really great shill of the week here. So,
yeah, I do too, man. My shill of the week. I think some people are gonna be like, "Oh, I remember that." So, yeah. All right. Nice. So how's you've been a jet setter, man?
I've been jet setting. Also, we should point out, because our patrons are giving us some shit in the chat here. Yes, it's been a few weeks since we've taped. Okay, we know. All right. We've kind of been transitioning to the final form of Dipped in Tone, which is our good friend and your favorite bass player on the internet for pedal shows, Mr. Addison. From, I don't know if he wants me saying his last name or not. So Addison from the JHS show is now mixing and editing the show and handling all the stuff so that we don't have to do it anymore, which means we'll actually be able to keep the show going on a weekly basis.
So long as we can record it in time for him to do it.
Yeah, but we're ahead of the schedule, man. We're on the ball this week.
We could do two this week.
We could do 2 this week. I mean, my God, look out. As always, shout out to the patrons. If you want to join in while we're taping these live and be able to submit your rig to be dipped here, you can join our Patreon, linked down below. And we greatly appreciate it because all of that Patreon money goes straight into keeping the show afloat and paying Addison to edit and mix and everything. So we wouldn't be doing the show without the patrons. So thank you guys.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've been jet setting, man. I've been getting around, you know. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago, I was in New York City for the first time in 2 years, which was, it's weird. Generally, I would get up there at least twice a year, two or three times a year. But with pandemic and everything, blah, 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 we all know what happened. So I was up there for Rick Beato's live show with Tim Pierce. And it's always good getting to hang with Rick, but the highlight for me was getting to hang with Tim Pierce because I don't see him that often. I hadn't seen him since NAMM of 2020, and you really could not meet a more genuine and kind human being than Tim Pierce. He's amazing. I love the guy. So that was a lot of fun. Rick's show was awesome. He did an amazing job. Crowd was great. And and then last week I went, speaking of JHS, I had a super last minute thing come up that called me out to Kansas City to do a thing with JHS that I can't quite talk about yet, but hopefully you'll see in the near future.
Yeah. And you did a live stream.
Which
was great for me because you featured one of the pedals. But it's the 1347 Mass Street music thing. It's been doing great. So
it's a great pedal, dude.
Thank you.
That was actually the first time I've played one, was on the stream. And I think I said this on the stream, but I think it's a good fuzz for someone who's fuzz curious, but doesn't quite maybe know what they want. And doesn't want something that's going to be too like crazy, going to sound like their amp's going to blow up, or too weird. And it's just a great sound of fuzz. Yeah.
It's way more approachable. So,
yeah. So what have you been up to the last 2 weeks?
Oh my God. I've been working on a thing that comes out on the 31st of this month. So in a few days, people in the Discord are asking if I'll show it. I won't, because
can I show the prototype?
No.
Damn it.
If they're paying attention, they've seen it.
Yeah. It's true.
Here, I'll show the back. There it goes. And then
it's a square.
It's a square, and then I'm going to try to show I've showed this.
Yeah. Any guesses on how many knobs it's got? Anyone?
Well, you can.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
That I've shared that much, but that's all I'm going to show. But Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're watching this, you've missed it. But apart from that, we've just been just trying to get, that's a lot. We were doing a huge run of those, and just trying to, stay on top of things. I think we're almost ready to hire another person.
Whoa.
So after this, because like it's funny, like you want to hire someone to help when it's busy, but at the same time when it's busy, you don't have time to train somebody.
Yeah.
So I think in the next couple of weeks we'll be probably finalizing that decision, and apart from that, it's just normal gearing up for spring. Planning the summer and family things and vacations and stuff like that. So
Nice. Where are you guys going?
I don't know. I think Morgan and I might finally take a honeymoon, which we never took. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was before we had any money and we had to do everything ourselves. So
Are you
Couldn't
guys
afford it.
are you beach honeymoon people?
I think Morgan would be. I don't like. I don't want to do anything.
Okay.
I mean, like my idea of a vacation would be like going somewhere and like I like going to museums and like doing stuff. I don't like sitting around.
I don't
Like
either.
I can sit around at home for free.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to the beach. Like the beach is fun for like 15 minutes, half an hour, and then I'm done. Like,
Dude,
I wanna
I'm
do something.
finally something we agree on. I'm not a beach person. I never really have been. It's like I don't like sitting around either. And look, whatever's your thing. If you love beaches, don't let me rain on your parade. But to me, the idea of like even beach towns, specifically beach towns in the Southeast, like Gulf Coast beach towns, it's like it's an entire town that's just built around the idea of doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not into it.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't know. We'll probably go somewhere with a beach and, enjoy that. And it'll be great for
It'll be
like,
great.
a few days. But I don't know. I'm horrible. I'm sure you're the same way. Like every time Morgan mentions going anywhere, I'm like, oh, there's a dealer there I'd like to visit. This is a really cool guitar store. It's like I can't turn it off.
We have our 5-year anniversary coming up, and we got married on Tilly's birthday, so it's the birth-diversary.
Right.
And which is cool because I only have to remember one day. It's not cool because if I ever do forget that day, it will be a screw up of royal proportions. But this year we're gonna go on a big road trip. We're gonna go out to Utah. We bought this camper last year, this like off-road camper RV trailer thing that we're really excited about. So we're going to drive it from Atlanta out to the Grand Canyon, then up through southern Utah, through all the backcountry and stuff to Moab, and then work our way east from Moab across Colorado, then Kansas City, probably stop at JHS again for a day, and then head home.
Well, for preparing this next release, I've spent a lot of time watching Survivor Man. So
Les Stroud.
I'll make sure that, before you go on this thing, you've got your survival kit in the back of that thing.
Can we talk about how superior Survivor Man was on every single level to what was Bear Grylls' show called? I don't remember.
Man versus Wild?
Man versus Wild. Yeah. Survivor Man was just better in every way. It was cooler. I used to watch that show all the time, man.
Well, fun fact, Les Stroud, he must own the rights to all this stuff because he put it all on YouTube, and he's getting millions of views, so good for him. But,
I mean, he made all the stuff himself, so
yeah, like he
why
deserves
not?
it. But like I think on the Joe Rogan podcast before he went, woo,
Oh God.
he did one with Les Stroud, and like Les talked about that whole thing and like them approaching him for that, and he's like, "That's not real, and that's not what I do."
Mm-hmm.
So, Man versus Food is better than Man versus Wild. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
All
it is.
right. So yeah, I've enjoyed it, but at the same time, every time I watch those shows, I'm like, man, I really need to have like, a Leatherman and some rations and flares in the back of my car, which is like it's never gonna matter. But
Yeah,
I
realistically,
think that's just being a dude.
It is. Dudes like things, and we like to carry things, and we like
Yeah.
to be prepared for situations that are never going to happen. But we like the idea of having the thing to be prepared for the situation that's never going to happen.
Yep.
But yeah, it's great. Les Stroud was actually, dude. I remember one Survivor Man episode. The one that really stuck with me was the one where he was stranded on the ocean in the raft.
Yeah.
And that for me was like, I never in a million years would I want to be in that situation ever.
No.
I mean,
that
I'd never
one's
want to be in
horrible.
any of those situations, but specifically that one sucked the most, I think.
Yeah, that one looks like, because I watched that like the Thursday, everyone got sick, and so I was just here by myself, and I watched 10 hours of Survivor Man. Watch that one again. It's great. Anyway, you wanna dip this rig?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, how do I? It's not putting it.
There it is.
That's not what we need. Here it is.
No, it's up. Oh,
that's
there
the
we
one.
Are. Okay, there we
with
are.
Our
Hello.
faces.
Hello.
Okay. Man, sorry. Usually it says add to stream, and now it just says remove.
This is funky.
This is weird. This is good. So this is from Pinto. Oh no, sorry. His email is Pinto. His name is Alan. So
Okay. Wait, ALAN or ALLEN?
ALLEN. There you go.
Okay.
He said he's refined. He sent this to us before, but he's refined it. This is his mini rig that he keeps in his office.
Okay.
The guitar is a Godin Solidec,
Okay.
which has a piezo. How do you say that word?
I don't because they sound bad.
Yeah. Well, no, the piezo. Like,
Yeah. I know.
do you say piezo, piezo?
There was a
Piezo?
bad joke that I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know. But I think I actually don't know how I say it. I don't think piezo is the right way to say it. I think it's piezo.
Piezo. Anyway, so he has this Godin with that system. He's got a Fender Super Champ, one of the old ones, 18 watts,
Red plug.
spring reverb, push-pull mid-boost. He says the second amp he ever got it in a pawn shop in 1985 for $65.
Is that Rivera era?
I do believe that's Rivera era.
Yeah, because the push-pull thing was a Rivera era thing.
Right. Fantastic stuff. And his pedal board is real sweet. He's got a Polytune, the EWS Little Fuzzy Drive, Electromonics Crayon, Catalan Bred Valcoder Tremolo Overdrive Boost,
Cool.
CKK Space Station Pro Delay Verb, and then he has a lithium-ion rechargeable power supply under the board, and that's it. So this is a quirky rig, and I feel like we're getting back into something. We've had too much good, safe.
Yeah.
Like, this is different. This is so different.
Well, I like the office rig. Like this, when I see this is like, yeah, this is an office rig. This is cool. All right, so we got to start with the guitar. I don't like Godins, man. I've never liked them. I think to me, this is further proof that of how hard it is to design an original guitar shape that looks good. And I think this doesn't look good. The proportions are weird. The proportions of the top horn are weird. The proportions of the center belly, like the center cut going into the lower bout, are weird. I don't know. What do you think?
I like it.
Oh God.
Don't get me wrong. It's definitely, I agree with you, but I think it's just different enough to where it kind of works. I wish the pick guard extended up into that top horn.
I don't think that would make. I think it would make it look worse, though. It would call more attention to how it's just the wrong size. You know what it is? The guitar would look great if that top horn wasn't so big. If they would have cut that top horn down just a little bit, because the rest of the guitar is fine. I mean, it's almost Les Paul-esque in shape, but
it would be kind of cool as a double cut.
Yeah, it'd be way cooler as a double cut.
Yeah,
that would be killer as a double cut.
But don't care about the piezo bridge thing, and chances are, I'd say Alan's probably not using that all that much with this setup. I don't understand the appeal of that. Anytime I've ever played one, like in a Parker or like the Slash Les Pauls or the PRS that have those, I don't get it. I mean, I understand if you're gigging and you have to cover a lot of ground, the utility of it, but I don't think it ever sounds good unless you had a dedicated rig to make it sound good.
Yeah, and even then, they don't sound good. Also, what's with the knob placement on this guitar? It's like,
I'd say that bottom one is the piezo volume.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the actual placement. Like, you've got two on the pickguard and then one just kind of floating out in space. Shouldn't that be in like Strat style in between the?
That would make sense. I bet what it is they have one with and without the piezo, and that knob is probably where the battery goes or something.
But dude, so the knob behind, that's the worst place for a knob for a pot. On look at where it is. It's under it's under the tremolo arm. Yeah. So you've got to reach behind the bridge to get to that. The more I look at this guitar, the more it's making me. Tremolo
arms, they really can make or break knob placement, because certain guitars. I had the Revolta Combinata. I don't know, 12. 15. Whatever number it was. The one with the Duesenberg less trim on it.
Yeah.
And the tremolo arm on that damn thing, you couldn't get to the knobs fast enough, at least for me. So I'm with you on that.
You got to be quick draw on those knobs. Just like, wow, get to that volume. Wow, look out, man. Fastest.
The classic Godin reach around. Yeah. All right.
Hey.
Graham,
that's the fastest knob twister in the east of the Mississippi. Old Zach Broyles.
Man.
Old Zach Knobs Broyles. Knobs, as we call him. Okay, yeah. And then the single hum thing. Okay, I mean it's cool.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. The guitar though.
I kind of like it.
Wait, and then I can't quite tell, but is there a Godin logo over the 15th fret on that oddly shaped top horn?
Sometimes they have that logo up there. Let me pull up the full-fledged.
Because that's...
Yep, there it is. It's okay. They always have that.
This might be my least favorite guitar on any rig dipping. Why do you need your logo on the guitar twice?
So you don't forget.
It's
so
like
if you're when you're on stage and you're on the jumbotron and they're filming the headstock, they got the brand name. Filming the body, got the brand name. Don't forget. Boom. I'm gonna start doing it on all the pedals. I'm gonna put it on every edge.
I'm not gonna say it. It's gonna be really mean. Anyways, I
like it. It kind of reminds me of those weird Gretsch Beasts. Do you remember those?
No.
Like a BST 100. Oh man.
No, I don't. But why do you like this?
It's just, I don't know. It's just quirky and a little weird. And obviously I like little weird and quirky stuff.
No, you like stuff that's bad.
No. There is. See, that's not fair. There's no good or bad. There's just different tastes, right?
You're right. But
there's something about these kind of like funky, like looks like it could have been made in Italy pawn shop guitars that I find really appealing.
Okay, but here's why it's not that though, because the weird funky made in Italy guitars from the 60s are cool because they're so out there and so quirky. This one misses the mark. I think if this was offset, it would actually work. I think if it was offset more like a Novo, then that top horn would make more sense. The bottom cut would be great.
Yeah. And I will say that I have played some Godins, and it's Godin. That's proper pronunciation, right?
Godin, yeah.
And I think they play really well, and I do think they feel good. So maybe like my past history playing them and going, you know what, this is nice. It kind of like supersedes the fact that it's a little goofy aesthetically. But I don't know. I kind of dig it. So
there's just a few things on here that make me like almost physically ill, and one of them is the knob placement. That bothered. It looks like it was intentionally photoshopped weird, or like they just forgot to put the middle knob in there. The double logo thing is weird, and then the top horn. Sorry, Alan. I hope this isn't Alan's like pride and joy guitar, and I'm just shitting all over it for 10 minutes because I feel bad. But that's getting your rig dipped. All right, now onto the pedal board. Now the pedal board is fantastic.
Yeah,
I think this is great. A great use of space. He's covering all of his bases with 4 pedals and a tuner.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've not spent much time with the EWS stuff. I've heard they're good. I think there's like a Japanese company, the little fuzzy drive. I've heard it's great. The crayon's great.
Mm-hmm.
The Cattle and Bread pedal's great. Don't know the CKK space station.
I don't either.
I assume.
But reverb and delay, again, that's cool use of space. I have the Horizon pedal that came out in 2020. The Horizon, God, what is it? It's their reverb and delay in a single, like almost like a bud box enclosure, you know?
Uh-huh.
And it's great. Like, and it's more of an ambient voice kind of thing, but it's cool. Somebody in the chat can correct me, but I like that. A reverb and a delay, just a small. Because most times, what do you need? Unless you're going for a specific reverb, specific delay sound, you want something, a plate reverb maybe a spring, and then some kind of analog or tape delay.
Yeah.
You know? And that can absolutely be handled in a small pedal like that.
Yeah. It's very utility. I mean, like, and again, this isn't for gigging. This is just for playing. He says it's for those late nights when I need to de-stress. And I think this is perfect for that. And honestly, you could totally grab this and go to a gig. That Super Champ.
Dude, okay, let's talk about the Super Champ. I feel like people are still sleeping on the Rivera era Fender stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna reverb. I'm gonna look and see what these things are.
Yeah, so go check that stuff out. So well, I forget what years Paul Rivera jumped on Fender. Was it 79 he joined?
Let me see. Fender. It was the late 70s, early 80s for sure.
Yeah. So the solo from Kid Charlemagne, Larry Carlton solo, that was Rivera era.
Princeton.
Not Princeton. Yeah, with the pull pot.
81 to 84. Is that what it was?
I thought it was longer than that. I thought it was in the 90s, but maybe I was wrong. Anyways, the Rivera era stuff is great. And prices are, I mean, what are prices looking like on Reverb right now?
Well, it gets a little convoluted because the Super Champ was also, they reissued it as like a digital modeling thing.
Yeah, but this is not that.
No. So I have to navigate.
Is this one? This is a 110, right?
I don't know, actually.
I mean, the cab, it looks like a 10-inch combo. But yeah, check out if you're into cool, funky Fender stuff. They had interesting overdrive sounds to them, and all the session guys in LA and like there's a period of time where like Larry Carlton and Lukather and all those guys had these in their studio rig. I mean, like I said, Kid Charlemagne solo was tracked on one.
Yeah, it looks like people might be getting a little more hip. The Super Champs, they're a 1x10, and there's a couple on here for $1,100 and $1,400. So.
Oof. A couple of years ago, that was probably like $500 or $600. But
gear has gone absolute ape shit. It doesn't make any sense.
Is it a bubble, or you think this is the new norm?
I think it's the new norm.
I think you're right.
So,
especially tube driven stuff, especially like kind of the older school stuff. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think prices are really going to fall that much.
No, not unless like tubes just wow.
Well, we'll get to that.
Save this.
We'll get there.
So,
all right.
What do you? I think you're gonna beat the hell out of this one. So, what are you gonna rate this rig?
All right. It's ironic that he says this is the rig that he plays to de-stress because the guitar stresses me out so much. But hey, everyone's different. So I love the pedal board. I love the battery powered. Did he say, was it like a? It's like a lithium ion.
It doesn't say specifically, but. I don't mind that because I feel like I would rather have that because then you're decoupled from any.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For this rig, that's perfect. And you don't have a ton of cables. He probably puts it in his like corner of his office somewhere. He puts the board on top of the amp when he's not using it. Great. Love the amp. Absolutely. That thing would sound incredible under a mic to record with. Losing some major points for me with the guitar. I got to admit. I think it's just too. It doesn't quite. So there's like this line, right? This like linear graph of like weird, quirky to cool. And this doesn't get to cool. I think to get this guitar to cool, it would either need to be offset or it would need to be a double cut. And if it was double cut, you could also cut that second Godin logo off of the body, which does need to be there. So I'm going to give this 6.8 Shoyles.
Oh!
Yeah. Dude, the guitar's really not doing it for me.
Ouch!
I know.
Godin. Devin says he's pretty sure it's pronounced Godin.
What?
So,
really?
I think I've never heard that. It is French. It's Canadian.
French-Canadian?
Yeah. Because they're the same as Seagull and whatnot.
Wait.
Seagull acoustic guitars?
Yeah. Seagull.
Yeah.
Did you say Seagull?
I mean, I don't know. I said it slowly, so it didn't say Seagull.
Seagull. Okay.
Jason Seagull guitars. Okay. I think I would give this. I'd give this a solid 7.5.
Why is it not higher for you?
That's that piezo thing. I think there's a little fluff that could just be gone, and like ultimately, like I bet this guitar plays great. I bet with
dude,
I'm sure it's awesome, but I feel like for just like de-stressing and the simplicity, I would probably get a simpler guitar, even though I do like it.
I think if you swapped that out for a Ventera Telecaster, this rig would be like 8.5, 8.8 for me.
Okay.
If you put a telly in there, I mean, I think that's the move. I think you sell the Godin or the Godan or whatever, and get yourself a telly.
There you go.
Maybe Alan, maybe you've already got a telly. Maybe you got a telly at home or something, and you bring that to your job. You know?
Yeah, maybe this is the one you just leave at the shop. You don't worry about. You know, you like.
Yeah.
When the kids come over and they knock it over, it's fine.
Yeah, and you don't worry about it because it has 2 logos for no reason.
I mean, I think that's a respectable score. If a movie was a 7.5 out of 10, I would be like, I'll go see that. But if it was, anything below, like, I don't know, what'd you give it, a 6 and a 6.3?
6.3. So it's like on the Rotten Tomatoes equivalent. It's like yours, I think, would just squeak by as certified fresh.
I don't know. They're pretty.
Mine would be rotten.
Their aggregates are weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure about their scoring system either. I think it's sandbagged a little bit. Anyways, yeah, there you go. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. See,
send more rigs like that. We like that stuff.
Actually, yeah, we need more rigs. Period. If you've sent one in the past and you are a patron, send a new one. Take a new photo.
Right, and remember the criteria are you have to be a patron. And it has to be something that you could actually take to a gig. We don't we can't go through your whole setup. We can't see all your gear. We need to see like a concise rig.
And no bare feet.
Oh, please God, no bare feet.
Yeah, just be aware of that could lead to some funny things, but there's a limit.
It's like, hey, you said no bare feet. I got shoes on.
It's just a pedal board and shoes everywhere.
Oh yeah, have you ever seen the thing
in the middle of it?
Yeah, or you ever seen the Craigslist, like when people sell mirrors?
Oh yeah,
on Craigslist. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, cool. So what are we getting into today?
So we're going to talk about that. I hear my guys, that tube situation, and the fact that there may be a company making tubes here in the States.
Yes.
Well, there already is, but tubes for us losers.
Right. So I first heard about this about 2 weeks ago on Pete Thorne's Sunday night live stream. And he just mentioned it in passing. I had not heard about it anywhere else, but he said like, oh yeah, there's Western Electric is, they've got a thing on their website right now. They're asking about, what other tubes they should make and if you'd be interested. So I went to their website and they had this full questionnaire. I'm sure everyone's heard about it by now, Western Electric tubes. So I filled my thing out, added my email address, left them a quick message, and they emailed me back about a week later. I got an email back from them. And at that time, it was, I think their head of marketing or whoever emailed me said they had received over 20,000 responses. And while they were not ready to release anything public at that time, it was a very PR answer. Essentially, they're saying, we're going to start making tubes again. Right. And I believe they have come out and said that publicly.
Yeah, I think I've seen some I don't know if it's a full-fledged press release, but some stuff to that effect that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
At least, fingers crossed, right?
Right. So Western Electric, they're based in Rossville, Georgia, which is basically Chattanooga, Tennessee. So for those of you who don't know, Chattanooga, Tennessee is basically on the state line between Georgia and Tennessee. So Rossville is a suburb of Chattanooga that's just on the Georgia side, but it's about 2 hours from me. Humbucker Music is based in Rossville as well. But Western Electric, they've been in business since 1869. There we go. Yeah. And they currently make tubes. So the idea that, there's no American-made tubes out there nowadays is not actually factual. This company currently makes a tube called the 300B, which is a tube. Basically, there's a picture of it right there. God,
look at this guy, like holding his face. If your chin was a little further left, I'd have you right in the palm of my hand.
He's doing some serious engineering. Scroll back up. Look at how he's really thinking about some electricity or something right there. It's super hard. My God. But anyway, they make a 300B. It's a hi-fi tube. And nice. Dude, their website is great.
Yeah, this website is
look at
top notch. We got to get Squarespace as a sponsor. So
yeah, even though I just ditched my Squarespace.
Oh
website.
No.
Yeah, sorry. Had to go to Shopify. But anyways, how much are these tubes, Zach?
All right. So, for those watching, I have these things pulled up here. So here is the tube. This parallax effect is so nice. In stock, ready to ship. The 300B vacuum tube.
Cannot get over how good their website is.
Okay, everybody ready?
Yep.
hold on to your butts. A matched pair is $1,500.
No.
A single tube is $700, and a matched quad is $3,099.
Oh my god!
How many? This thing only have 2 pins. How does this work?
Well, I don't know the ins and outs of it exactly, but from what I understand, that particular tube, it's interesting because I guess what you want in the hi-fi audiophile world is a incredibly clean tube that doesn't distort.
Oh, look at this.
Oh my god!
Look at the box.
Well, yeah, I mean for what's $1,500, $1,600,
$700 for one.
Yeah, I hope it comes in a nice handmade box. My god,
fancy.
But it's interesting because what the hi-fi crowd is looking for out of a tube and what the guitar crowd is looking for out of a tube is polar opposites, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of understand where they're coming from with the 300B because they've essentially engineered this thing to be completely clean, high headroom, no distortion whatsoever. And I think hi-fi people will pay exorbitant prices for this kind of stuff.
Sure. And like this is going to last a long time.
Wait, hold on. Power output and distortion. Scroll back up. Let's read that. Performance data, including power output, second and third harmonic levels for a number of operating conditions, are given in the table. The variation of power output and harmonic levels with load resistance for several values of operating plate current is shown in figures 7, 8, and 9 for a plate voltage of 350 volts. Okay, so this is just...
What is this?
There's some
you gotta
formulas
do math?
down there. Oh, no.
Jeez.
My God.
I didn't go to college for that.
Dude, this is some nerdy shit right here. My God. Someone in the chat can tell me what any of that stuff is.
Whenever this is like people talk about this sort of thing, I just see that meme of that woman with like all the equations floating around her.
That's what that guy was doing earlier in the picture. Yeah. But this is interesting because they received enough of a response from the guitar playing community that it seems like they are going to actually tool up and start making tubes. Now, obviously, they're not going to be as inexpensive as JJ's or
right.
any of the Russian tubes. I mean, I believe they're going to be quite a bit more expensive. So it begs the question, are we willing to spend more money on an American-made vacuum tube for your amplifier?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just depends on the price. I mean, from what we've seen, the import tube market is not going away entirely. I think we all panicked.
Yeah.
And, just almost every website is completely bought out. There's like, I've seen people say we have tubes and they have like NOS like stuff that's crazy expensive. So like, I don't count that. I like a new production tube. So, I mean, if they can do this, and even if it's at a significant premium, as long as it remains somewhat approachable, and I just saw on their warranty, they're 90 days from when they ship and when you receive them, but you can mail in a warranty card for 5 years on those tubes. Now, guitar amp tubes are not going to be warranted for that long, but if there's anything similar to that, even 90 days, I think that is pretty significant.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would be willing to pay more for like a set of a matched pair of EL84s because that's really what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
as power tubes, preamp tubes. There's a lot of them out there. They rarely ever go bad. 12AX7 it rarely ever goes bad. EF86s I think are a little more prone to going microphonic and stuff. Yeah. But really, what we're talking about is power tubes, and certain power tubes like KT88s are already insanely expensive.
Sure.
To get a matched pair of KT88s right before all the tube panic happened, I paid like $110.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're expensive, but things like EL84s, EL34s, 6L6s, if Western Electric starts making those tubes in America, they're probably going to last longer. They're going to be made better to a higher standard than what you're getting out of Russia or China. And so there is an argument to be made. Well, if I'm going to spend 2 or 3 times as much for this tube for it to last 3 to 5 times longer than the Russian tube or the Chinese tube, then it might work. And the other perspective here is from amp builders, because what I've heard from amp builders now is so many tubes that they buy never end up going into amps because they, from the factory, are out of spec and just don't work.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a shame.
It is a shame.
And here's the forum that they posted with like the different tube types. And one of the things that I'm noticing is there's no rectifier tubes on this list. I don't know what a 274B or a 6H30 are, but there's no like
GZ34s or anything.
Any classic rectifier tubes.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
But I mean, you're right about like for the most part. I think if you have something that is really well made, it's going to last a long time. I rarely change tubes unless they die, and
right.
I just don't. I would have to hope that if they made the tubes here in the States and they really had the QC, and it looks like these guys have got it figured out.
Yeah.
That they would be stable and long lasting and really be something you might have to do once every couple years instead of every 6 months.
Yeah, and that's assuming you're playing that 1 amp every single day.
Right.
The reality is if you've got more than 1 or 2 amps and you're spreading your time playing between those amps. I mean, I haven't replaced power tubes in any of my amps in years because I play there's not a consistent amount of time spent on one amplifier. It gets kind of spread out. I do want to go make a video up there though.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool.
I'm gonna reach back out to them and see if I can go up in the next couple weeks and shoot a video up there. But I do think there's another side to this discussion. And if you saw my video, wow,
oh man, they got insulated wire. How much is this?
10. Oh, it's out of stock. Yeah.
Oh,
the red's in.
Whoa!
What's for 100 feet though? So
yeah,
that's
but 100 feet's not that long. I mean, I guess if you're just making like speaker cables.
Dude, this hi-fi world stuff is crazy.
10 gauge that's big.
That's big.
You know, a lamp cord, like most of your wires in your house are like 18 gauge wires. So that 10 gauge is significant.
This dude, the hi-fi audiophile world is something I don't know much about. And so I didn't know this stuff was this expensive. My God.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, it was 10 gauge, 100 feet was $1,100.
Yeah. Oh, they got a CD player? Look at that.
Whoa. How much is that?
It's just like dipped in shopping.
Maybe we should make this a segment on the show. We go dipped in shopping once a week.
Oh no, that would be bad. It's been way too much money. I don't know. Anyway, here let's get rid of this screen here.
Yeah, because we're getting distracted. But I think so. In my video I made a couple weeks ago, the point of it was, not to cause panic, which people think I did, which is not my intention. It was to talk about how I think this moment is a catalyst in the guitar community for people who, you know, for us who already have tube amps, we're always going to have tube amps. We're always going to play tube amps. You know, we're always going to have backup tubes, all that stuff. But I think if tube availability becomes more scarce and tube prices go up and tube amp prices go up because the amp builders can't afford to keep their prices as low as they are with parts costs going up, it's going to make newer players in the next generation of players, the coming generation of players, rather than going out and buying a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe or something, or a tube-driven twin reverb or something, they'll get the Tone Master version, or they'll buy a Kemper, or they'll buy a Helix or something, because there's already the debate of which is better. You get more for your money, you get more bang for your buck with a modeling amp anyway. So that was my point, and I don't think that's changed.
No, I think that's the way we're going. I think, like, I could totally foresee Fender ditching all product. Like the Tone Master is a proof of concept, and they've already released how many versions of that?
They've got the Super, the Twin, and the 2 versions of the Deluxe.
And did they do that? That was it. That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's 4. But I think we're going to see a shift from them, and all the tube amps are going to be like custom shop level,
right?
Fancy, and like I mean, I could totally see them making a Tone Master hot rod that would be just everyman friendly, affordable, loud. You know, maybe they fix. please fix that dirty channel. Just
I was
do
going
it
to say,
right.
probably will sound better than the tube-driven hot rod.
It would have to. But, just do that right. I mean, could you imagine if they made a Tone Master Blues Junior, how many, they would sell them hand over fist if they sounded at all like a Blues Junior or better, which would not be hard.
If they did a Tone Master Tweed Deluxe, like a 5E3 Tone Master with the 4 inputs and everything, come on. What it's a proof of concept, dude. The Tone Master stuff sounds really good.
Yeah.
The thing that they did right is they made it look like the real amp. From a distance, unless you can see that little badge in the bottom corner, you don't know that it's not tube driven.
100%.
I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. If I'm in the market for buying a brand new deluxe reverb, or maybe even the super reverb now too, it's like if I'm going to buy a new amp off the shelf, I'm probably going to buy the Tone Master, because it does the job that I would want that amp to do. It does that job better than the deluxe or the tube driven version.
Totally, and it's not going to break your back. Like there's no
power scaling. It's not going to break your back.
There's no disadvantages.
DI out, and in a room, in a real life situation, yes, under a microscope, under microphones, you can hear the difference between the tube driven one and the Tone Master. It doesn't matter. In a real world situation, in a gigging situation, which is what those amps are for, they sound good. They sound really good. That's all you need.
And I think all these companies are going to be, and players too, are going to be shifting to this mentality. Like, maybe my tube amp is my studio thing. It's my home thing. It's it's not my gigging thing, because just the progression of the solid state and modeling and all this stuff has just gotten so good. I played a Catalyst, a Line 6 Catalyst at Guitar Center on Sunday, and sounded great. It sounded really good. Like it to me, like there would be that argument, why would you get a Catalyst if you have an HX Stomp or whatever, or in a power cab? That sounds like a recorded guitar sound. The Catalyst sounds like a guitar amp. Right. And
just because of the construction.
And how they made it. Like I talked to Matt and from Yamaha and Line 6, and he was trying to drive the point home that it's not the same thing. It is made to sound like a guitar amp, and it does. Yeah. So, and I think we're just going to see more and more of that. And I want this tube thing to sort itself out and for the world to go back to some sort of normality. I mean, most importantly for the people of the Ukraine, but because all that aside, I don't like to see people freaking out, and I don't want to see my friends in the industry that build guitar amplifiers struggling because of the tube crisis. But I hope that everyone can kind of, shift their mentality that maybe modeling and everything is okay and it's workable, and they just have to go play some more of that stuff.
I actually think there is a world where this could work out in the favor of the small boutique builder, because I think you're right. I think a lot of the big dogs, you're already seeing it from Orange. Orange and Fender, I think, are the two that are kind of really leading this, where they're like the new Orange amp that they just did the biggest press release for, the Super Crush 100 or something like that. I don't even.
Oh yeah,
it's all solid state. It's like, and it sounds great.
The Milkman too.
Yeah, Milkman, the amp, so Tim Marcus was on this in 2020. He was doing this before any of the stuff started popping off. So my point though is, I think specifically younger players, a lot of them, not all of them, I think, but a lot of them are going to just gravitate more towards a digital amp solution, because it's there, it's accessible, it's what they're used to, it's what they've developed their sound on, and it's what they can afford and get their hands on. And if tube amps become more scarce and more pricey,
that Orange Super Crush is only $500.
Oh, really?
Dang.
That's cool.
I want one.
I want one.
See, I can't shop. I can't be left alone with a credit card and with a website.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be the next 5 years in the amp world are going to be really interesting to see what happens. Maybe this all regulates and goes back to normal and whatever. It was not that big of a deal, or it's a huge shift. I think it's going to be a big shift.
Yeah, Arnie in the YouTube chat says, I feel like Quilter never gets mentioned. And that's true. Quilter makes great stuff too. I think aesthetically they need a little help.
I was going to say the same thing. Quilter,
they sound great.
They sound great. I think their aesthetic hurts them because you look at a Quilter amp and you just think, because of our biases, we hear with our eyes a lot. We think, well, that can't sound good. It's not a real amp. Look at it. It's like a, I don't even know what, like it looks like a hard drive or something with knobs on it.
Looks like a piece of medical equipment.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like something that's not what we would normally hear. Now I know, RJ plays Quilter stuff a lot, like they sound great, but I think there is something to being on stage with an amp, with a head and a cabinet. Like, it's just like seeing, if you went to a gig and the drummer was playing like Roland V drums.
Yeah.
Even if it sounded great in front of house, you'd kind of be like,
hit them harder.
I can hear the plastic. I feel like I can hear it come through.
Oh man.
But I don't know. I say that, and I've gigged with just helixes and stuff on stage too. So it's like sometimes it doesn't matter, but
it's all about it's the necessity of the gig.
Yeah.
But there is. You can't. It's inescapable, the feeling of playing a loud amp through speakers.
Yeah.
And
moving air.
And I think we've talked about that before. Like all the people that are going to start playing and learn on a plugin, they don't experience that, but. As long as there is a part of the market, because we're going to be playing guitar and going to be involved in this stuff, hopefully for a long time. So the people coming up behind us still have to deal with us. Yeah. So, but I think, like you were saying, I think it could help boutique amp builders, and I think it might, but I just hope that, like I think about Two Rock, I think about Eli, because I had talked to him, because I blew the tube before all this happened. Thank God I blew up all the tubes the power tubes in my Two Rock and got to buy some more. But
how'd you do that?
I was playing the 1347 and the Two Rock almost all the way up, and it just freaked out. Yeah, and I blew it up. I think a tube was getting ready to go, and my pummeling just broke it. Yeah, but he was saying how backed up they were, how long their wait list is, which is, to be expected. But, what happens if they can't get tubes? Like, what happens?
Well, the thing is, too, like, there's always going to be a market for tube amps. Look at this hi-fi stuff, dude. Like, okay, so I Play Bass in the chat said that CD player we were just looking at. Mm-hmm. How much do you think that CD player costs?
Oh, $3,500?
$12,500.
What?
But my point is that there's a market for it. If there wasn't people buying it, they wouldn't be making it and putting it on their website. So no matter how exorbitantly there's a market for $10,000 clones right now.
I hope so.
You selling yours?
No, I don't want to sell a lot of stuff, but not that one. I'm gonna keep it.
Okay, whatever. It was funny on that JHS.
Wait, why are you interested?
No, God, no. Jesus. On that JHS live stream last week, I was giving Josh shit because he put that clone on his board, and I was like, so you just took that board from like a $2,500 board to $13,000 with one pedal? But to be fair to Josh, when he bought all those, they were way under $1,000. Like, one of them he bought new, from Bill Finnegan. Like,
it's funny. When he was using it with the fuzzes, I did not. I liked the majority of the sound. I don't know if it was just like the YouTube, but I thought it sounded better with the clone off.
I liked. Well, he put out a good point, like in my BAE fuzz with that mid circuit in there. Yeah, it's essentially doing the same thing. It's like kind of shaping and giving it more punch and attack.
It is. There's stacking overdrives into fuzzes is a podcast in and of itself, but yeah, most of the time when he kicked it on, I was like, I like it less.
John B in the chat, Patreon, said, "You'll never take my 100-watt tube amp cranked in my basement through 412s." Nobody's trying to take anybody's amps.
No.
Let's not start.
Unless they're for sale and they're cool, then I might take.
We should. What is it? The gun people do the come and take it thing. The stickers, like the come in with the we should do that for like a guitar amp or something, like a tube or something.
Planet of the Apes, like my cold dead hands. Like,
God,
well, Charlton, we could have Charlton Heston holding a Marshall head.
Wearing a PV t-shirt.
He's kneeling in front of the Statue of Liberty with a PV t-shirt.
Maybe that's our PV t-shirt. Maybe it says PV over my cold or out of my cold dead hands or something, or come and take it.
It's got a bandit.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there you go. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah.
You know, what's going to happen with the tube revolution.
I think that goes right into my shill.
Well, let's take. I think we're going to try one or two Patreon questions here before we get into our shills. So, Calcudas in the Patreon chat is asking, the amp switcher you have is sick. What is it? That is the Ampete 88S. Ampete Engineering. So, for those of you who don't know, my amp shelf behind me here, they're all plugged into an amp switcher, an amp and cab switcher in my my rack that you can't see. It's off camera, and it's really cool. It'll take up to 8 amp heads and 8 cabinets, and it handles all of the loading and impedances. I think that actually all needs to be 8 ohms. I don't think it can mix impedances, but basically you can have all your amps on and just switch between them instantly. You plug your guitar into the rack, and then you have each amp has its own 1/4-inch cable going into the instrument input out of the back of the switcher, and then you just punch what button you want, and it switches the amps instantly. It's awesome.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense to only have 1 ohm out, because you wouldn't be able to like match impedance for cabinets and stuff.
It would be tricky to. I don't even know if you could do that.
You could. I mean, it would have to be probably a load box that would take the amplifier and like. I don't think it would be an easy thing to do. It is possible, because I remember when I was working at Carter Drink, Tom Stadler, one of the techs, was working on a box for like testing, or maybe it was breaking in speakers or maybe testing amps or something, and he made a like ohm changer thing, and it was just like this huge, like 1590 DD, like one of the big Hammond boxes.
Oh yeah.
Like bigger than what Nick Greer builds the Super Chief or the Mini Chief amps in.
Oh yeah.
Huge. And it was just that with a bunch of resistors and like big rotary switches and stuff, which was pretty neat.
Wait, I didn't know the Chief was built on a pedal box. Like, you mean the chassis of the amp is a pedal box?
The Mini Chief head, yeah, it's like a big Hammond. I mean, it's not even that big. It's a Hammond enclosure, and he's just like has it drilled out for tube sockets, which is like, it makes sense. You know, you use aluminum for amp chassis, so why wouldn't you use an enclosure? And in fact, when I was thinking about doing amps, that was something I was kind of considering, like, how do we make this amp? But now my amp dreams may be a little, they may be put on hiatus until the situation resolves itself.
Prototype Port City is ready to go check out, but I need to talk to Daniel and make sure he's got enough tubes to do a run of amps.
Well, you know, it's funny, because the guy I was talking to, Steve, he and I, when all this stuff hit, he texted me like a day later. He's like, so I don't know if we're going to do this. And I said, I think it's the perfect opportunity for us to design the best solid state amp ever. He said, that's true. And that was where the conversation ended.
Yeah, it'd be cool. We should do that.
Yeah, that's usually how it happens.
Wait,
no other questions coming in that I can see.
Hold on the Western Electric. So on the 300B tube that they make, why not just use a transistor at that point? Because if the goal is to, and I'm asking because I need to be educated on this, but if the goal is to have a super high headroom tube that's not adding any distortion, sorry, the sun's coming through my window and blasting me right now. Why not just use a transistor?
Well, I mean, it's probably a power tube.
Well, yeah, they are. They're 300B power tubes.
Okay. I mean, like, there's going to be, like, you're going to get sag and things that'll happen as you crank. I mean, like, I think it would be more than just creating a power amp, a solid state power amp, because like the interaction with your preamp and the power amp is what's going to give you the character. So I don't know. I mean, you don't need it to do anything.
No, I know. Obviously, you don't need it. I mean, my God. But it's also the idea of like, and again, I'm asking because I'm not an audiophile, so I don't know these things. But like,
neither am I.
Why have a tube-driven amplifier for an audio system? Isn't that going to affect the music? Because in my mind, if I'm going to listen to music, like I just signed up for Tidal a couple weeks ago, because you can listen to like full res wave and FLAC files and stuff of masters, which is cool. But to me, I feel like a digital amplifier, really well designed digital amplifier, would be preferable to a tube driven one, because if I'm going to listen to like a master recording of something, I don't necessarily want my system to color it. I want to hear the most accurate representation of the producer and mix engineer and mastering engineer and artist's vision of that song. I don't want to like impart my own color on top of like what Chad Blake did. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think it's like you got the cool stuff. So, it's probably just like it's like a Timex and an Omega don't tell time differently. It's just one.
Well,
is hell of a lot cooler and nicer.
Rolex time is better than regular time.
Is that true? Do you have a Rolex?
No, God, no. This is not a Rolex. Man. People ask. This is a poor man's. Looks like a Rolex, not a Rolex. It's
Rolex.
Oh God, I can't on my wrist now. What the hell? It's a Shinola Monster. It is automatic though. My first automatic movement.
Sweet. Focus. Got another question. Dan Hughes, building out my first pedal board, looking for a drive to stack with a blues driver that isn't a tube screamer. Huh?
Thank you.
Budget friendly options, classic rock, blues, alternative kind of vibes. With a blues driver,
a Klon circuit might be cool with a blues driver.
Yeah, that would be fine. I think
budget focus something from maybe like a Soul Food.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Soul Food would be fine. I feel like here's what I would do. I would mod the blues driver and then use the boost, because blues drivers sound great, but they sound way better when you mod them. And with a clean booster, you could put it pre or post. You could really cover a wide range of tones.
I'm learning that I can't film in here at 6:00 now.
Well, should we do our shill?
Let's do our shills and get out of here.
Okay, we'll ask some more questions later. Oh, and I did with our new podcast host. I set up a thing for. You can leave us a voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how it works. I switched it on. So if you're listening or you find us on Spotify, and you should be able to leave us a voicemail. And by the way, please rate us on all those things, because it really helps. I have my shell. It's right here beside me.
All right, go ahead.
It's not so bad. So I sent you a video clip of this, but this...
Yeah. Retro channel
is a retro channel amp. So about 10 years ago, Destroy All Guitars. What the hell is his name? Lance Keltner.
Yep.
He, I think, was part of like making this, and it's essentially a solid state version of a train wreck. And
hell yeah.
When the tube things happened, I was like, man, it'd be cool if I had something solid state that was a backup that, was different. And I thought about this and immediately just gave it a reverb search, nothing. And so I gave it a Google search to search, mom and pop shops, found one. It's $575.
Nice.
It is a bass, middle, treble, volume, presence, master. It's 8 or 16 ohms. At 8 ohms, it's like 100 watts solid state. At 16, it's about 50. On the back, it has a resonance knob.
Oh.
And effects loop. Normally effects loops, when you crank your amp, it doesn't really affect the effects loop. This does.
Interesting.
It must be in a weird spot. But you know what? It sounds pretty damn good. And it's serial number 63.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to post some clips on my Instagram or something, but I'm really impressed by this. And our friend, Jacob, the visual guy, he's sending me one of those One Control S66 BJF S66, which is like a deluxe reverb in a small package.
Okay.
And because he said, "Oh, I have this thing and it rules. I'll send it to you to try it." So, gonna try that too because this thing is cool. It feels a little stiff. It's better with like an overdrive or something in front of it to compress. Right. But Retro Channel RR1, I'm kind of surprised by it.
Through the camera, it looks like it says Retro Camel.
Retro Camel. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, Jacob, when are you getting on Destiny again? By the way, so here's mine. This is the Fox Rocks CC Hybrid 2 Fuzz. I bought this last week to try and get ahead of the Josh Scott bump because when we were getting ready for the live stream, we were going through a bunch of fuzz pedal. Dude, that place is insane. It's everyone. I mean, we've all seen the videos and stuff. The JHS shop. It's crazy. It's crazy what they have over there. Yeah. Anyways, we had a whole table of fuzz pedals, and I'd never played this before, so I plugged this up. It is a hybrid fuzz, so it's one silicon and one germanium transistor, and it sounded really good. And Josh was gonna put it on his board, and I said, "Oh no, you don't." So I jumped on Reverb and bought this, $130 because this was like a demo unit. I guess they used it for videos or something. It sounds awesome. It's woolly, it's fat, cleans up really well, and it has a power switch. So if you have this on your board and you're doing it, you're running it off of a 9-volt battery, and you leave it plugged in, you can switch and detach the battery so you don't kill the battery, which is awesome.
So handy.
So handy.
Yeah. The old-fashioned way is just unplugging the cable, but sometimes you can't reach the cable.
Yeah. Zap in the chat says insider trading alert, filing a report with the SEC. Well, you know what? Go ahead. I'm not a senator. It is insider trading though, because it's like if I know what they're going to do a video on, I always do a reverb search first to try and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes stuff's already expensive.
Yeah, but you're not like buying that to flip it.
No, I'm buying it because I don't.
You just want it
good. Yeah,
you don't want to get raked over the coals.
No, so it's only half insider trading.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Insider buying.
Insider buying. Fox Rocks CC Hybrid 2. They're super cool. If you're into fuzzes like myself, check it out. They're a lot of fun.
Fox Rocks is a classic. They've made so much great stuff over the years. So.
Yeah, I actually didn't know much about them, and of course Josh has everything they ever made. So he was showing me like the where you plug the different cards in, the different cassettes basically, so you could take this enclosure apart, plug one of their other cards in, and have a different pedal basically. Yeah. Wild stuff, man.
Crazy.
Every time I hang out with you and every time I hang out with him, I realize there's so much about this that I just don't know.
It's ludicrous.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's too much and I get overwhelmed and I just kind of wish I could, I don't know, just be a YouTuber like you.
I don't know. I just wish I could build guitar pedals and not have to make video. You know what I don't like?
Freaky Friday or what? No, let's swap.
With the twins,
what's the one where like the girl becomes her mom? I think it's Freaky Friday.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different movie altogether. What was the one with Lindsay Lohan where she plays herself twice? She's a twin. With you know what I mean?
Well, Freaky Friday has Lindsay Lohan. Lohan, whatever. And Jamie Lee Curtis, and they swap places.
Oh, okay.
Lohan?
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Honestly, the worst part of the YouTube gig is thumbnails. Parent Trap. That's it. Yeah, let's do Parent Trap.
My parents be like, "Who the hell are you?"
Yeah, making thumbnails is the worst part of the gig, but it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we did it.
We did
it, everybody. So thanks for hanging. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate us on iTunes or wherever you. I don't know. I don't have.
Is iTunes even around anymore?
Apple Podcasts.
Wherever fine podcasts are downloaded.
Yeah. There's some really great positive reviews on there I saw, and there were some pretty funny like bad reviews.
Nice.
So
of course.
You know what? It takes all kinds.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
let them go. Let them just type whatever you think.
You can roast us in your review. Just leave us like a good star rating so that it's actually a good review.
Yeah, that's fine.
We don't care what you say.
As rude as you want to be.
As mean and just as degrading as you want to be, just give us 5 stars. We've earned that much.
All right, everybody.